If we could talk to the animals, learn all their languages, maybe take an animal degree. If I conferred with our furry friends, man to animal, think of the amazing repartee. If I could walk with the animals, talk with the animals, grunt and squeak and squawk with the animals, and they could talk to me.
Hello and welcome to Pet Watch, a monthly program about the services provided by your Williamson County Animal Control and Adoption Center. I'm Debbie Simmons and I'll be your host today. My guest is Madison Shedd and this is Frank. Welcome, Madison.
Hi, it's great to be here.
Thank you and welcome, Frank. Madison is one of our lead volunteers, I call them, one of our key volunteers at the shelter. Tell me how you got involved in being a volunteer.
I actually just wanted to do something for my community, and I just kind of went on the internet and started researching different things that were available, and I found the animal shelter, and so I signed up to do an orientation. And my first day volunteering, I absolutely loved it, and I've been doing it for almost 2 years now.
And I guess dogs are your specialty.
Yes, absolutely.
Frank is one of the dogs currently available for adoption.
He is.
And the reason that you have Frank with you is he spent the night at your house last night.
He did. We had a little bit of a shelter dog sleepover.
Okay. We've been working on a new program. Mm-hmm. It's called Fostering for a Day. Yes. And you like to call it shelter sleepover, which is fine. Yeah. Tell us how that works.
Well, it's a brand new program, and I think it's really invaluable to the shelter dogs. Basically what happens is a volunteer and eventually people from the public will be able to take a shelter dog home for either a night or a weekend or just an afternoon, and it kind of just gets the dogs out of the shelter for a little bit just to have a break from the noise and the commotion that goes on there. We try to make it, as fun for the dogs as possible. Sometimes we'll take them downtown Franklin and walking. Sometimes you'll just come over and hang out at your house, but it's a really great program. I'm really excited that it's starting up.
And some of you actually took the dogs to the Sounds game.
We did.
On Pet Friendly Night.
Yes. Yeah, they had a bark in the park, and we were able to get a couple volunteers and a couple dogs to take the dogs to the game, and it was a lot of fun. They had a great time watching the game, and a few of them even got a couple treats.
Oh, good. I bet they did.
Yeah.
I think I saw one of them on Facebook licking an ice cream at the park, yeah. So I think they had fun. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about the advantages of a dog getting a break from this shelter. The shelter is a very high-stress environment. Mm-hmm. Sometimes. There's a lot of excitement when the walkers come in, mm-hmm. and everybody wants to get out and be walked. But a walk is very short, and mm-hmm. it doesn't provide the dog enough time usually for its real personality to come out. So what is a long respite, like 24 hours or 8 hours away from the shelter, what do you think it provides for the dog?
It's basically a psychological break. They get to kind of decompress, calm down, and it also gets them ready for home life. When a dog has been in the shelter for a few weeks, a few months, it gets very used to the chaos and the commotion, so they do get a lot of anxiety being in that environment, and giving them a break from the shelter gives them kind of just a little taste of this is what home life is like. It's not always going to be so crazy, and it makes them more adoptable, essentially.
It's a great idea when you think about it, because I tell people when they come and look at dogs for people that are interested in adopting, I always tell them this is really not a true reflection of a dog's personality. You can't do a walk-by of a kennel and really detect what a dog is like. Mm-hmm. I think, and you probably see this when you think you know Frank, and then you take him home. Mm-hmm. The real personality comes out.
Yes. And
you discover how he interacts with other animals if you have them in your home, mm-hmm. and how he does in the public. And you're right, it does make them more adoptable. Now, what is Frank's personality? What do you know about him now that you've had him at your home all night?
At the shelter, Frank is a little bit hyper, but once I got him home, I realized that he's very mellow. He's a very chill kind of dog. He wants nothing more than to be on the couch, relaxing, watching TV. He gets along great with my dogs. He just wants to be with people. He's very sweet, loves kids. And, you know, he's a great dog.
And that's not something, any of that you would detect by walking by the kennel and taking a look at him.
No,
because he's so friendly. He just wants out. I want out. I want out.
Yeah, it is very hard to tell a true personality of an animal when it's in a kennel situation.
I agree. I think it's wonderful that you started that program. Now, are there other volunteers that are right now that are starting the program with you, or how many did you have the night you went to the Sounds game?
We had 4 people the night we went to the Sounds game, and 2 of those dogs got to sleep over, which was great. And there's a handful of others. The program is just starting, so not a lot of people know about it yet, but there are a few people who are very involved in it so far.
And really, you become an adoption advocate.
Yes.
Yeah, because he's got his little Adopt Me scarf on, and everybody will ask you, oh, is that dog up for adoption? And it expands the scope of what the shelter can do. I mean, we have adopt WCAC.org, and we have a place on Pet Finder where you can look at the dogs available for adoption. But to actually meet one in downtown Franklin last night, just the excitement it causes to have people walking dogs from our local shelter and let people see what the different mixes are like, because everybody we have there is a mix. Everybody's, I say they're all a hybrid anyway. Now, we would call his coloring brindle.
Yes, he is a brindle dog. He's got kind of what people sometimes refer to as tiger striping. But Frank is a 3-year-old plot hound mix, and he's got some other stuff in, and there might be some lab in there, but he's mostly hound dog.
Oh, he's very sweet. Now, tell me about your T-shirt says the Pit Crew, and I've got one here. The Pit Crew is something that Madison started at Williamson County Animal Control, and she's got our webpage on the back. Tell me what the Pit Crew is and how it got started.
Well, the Pit Crew basically kind of just started as a couple of volunteers who were very pro pit bull. We were big pit bull advocates, and I work for a promotional products company, so I ended up making T-shirts for a few people who were very interested in it, and it's just kind of just a flag to say, like, we support pit bulls, we're big advocates for the breed. There's a lot of misconceptions about that breed, and so we just want to educate the public out about what a great dog they are.
And so when you help us with our events, I know you radiate to the pit mixes immediately, and because you know many of those dogs and have walked them at the shelter, and I just love to see you laying over in the grass at an event with your Pit Crew shirt on, with a slobbering pit mix licking your face.
Yes.
And they're very affectionate dogs, and there are so many misconceptions. Almost every day, I have to try to educate people, and I know you do too. And the best advertising is success stories.
Yes.
Yeah, and we have many at the shelter. Unfortunately, there are lots of pit mixes which get left at the shelter because of those misconceptions. So a lot of the dogs that we take out to our events we do it for educational purposes.
Yes.
Now, there is no generalization. Is there about what a pit mix's personality is, or?
No, I mean, every dog is their own dog. There's no way to determine the personality or traits of one dog based on the breed. There are kind of, there's markers, there's things that people might expect from a specific breed, but if they're mixed with a lab, or if they're mixed with a collie, they're all different dogs. They're all individuals, just like people.
And most of the ones we get are family dogs.
Yes.
Or strays. They are not those that are illegally bred and put in fighting situations, though those do occur.
Yeah, every once in a while we do get them, but most of the dogs that we do end up with are family dogs, and it really shows when they come in, because a lot of the dogs that come in are extremely affectionate. They want to be with people. They're great dogs, and I've never met one I didn't like.
Yeah, I've never, in the times I've been at the shelter and been working at events, I've never seen an aggressive one. So you're right, there is the generalizations, like all things in life, do not apply.
Right.
And it's our job to try to educate the public on that, and you're doing a great job.
Thank you.
Now, if anybody's interested in learning more about the Pit Crew, they could contact the shelter. We would be happy if they want to take their volunteering to a new level and learn more about the pit mixes. And would you be out at some of our events and available if someone wanted to work with you and learn more about the breed?
Yeah, absolutely. I try to go to as many events as I possibly can. I volunteer a lot after work and then on weekends. So I would, if anybody wanted to contact me, wanted to get more involved in the pit crew, I would be more than happy to help them with that.
It's great, and I think it's wonderful people want to change, and they know that they just need to be educated, and to spend a few hours or an hour with you and a pit mix will change their life and change their conception. Let's talk a little bit about you have several dogs at home? Now,
I do.
What do you have?
I have a Red Heeler Akita mix, and then I have a Golden Retriever Siberian Husky mix.
Okay, now one of your dogs had food allergies?
Yes, that would be Axel. That's the Heeler.
Okay, tell me about how that come about. People don't think of dogs as having allergies, but they do.
Yeah, it's actually very common. I adopted him from a shelter about 2 years ago, and when we got him, he was just really skinny and kind of a lanky dog, and we didn't really think anything of it, but every time we would feed him, he would get ill. So it took about a year of going to the vet a couple times every month to figure out that he actually had food allergies. And he ended up being allergic to wheat, which is a filler in a lot of dog food. So he is on a wheat-free or gluten-free diet, and the treats that I make are wheat-free.
Okay, so you basically said, I'm going to make my dog a treat.
Yes.
Because you couldn't find it in the store. So being the innovative person you are, you created Axel Bites.
Yes.
Now, Axel Bites are a wheat-free snack that Madison created. They're homemade, organic dog treats.
Yes.
Okay, so do you manufacture these at home?
Yeah, I make them in my kitchen. It's all organic ingredients. Everything's healthy. There's no fillers, no preservative. There's nothing artificial in the treats at all.
Well, I see there are only 5 ingredients.
Yes, they're very healthy, very simple. A lot of dogs love them. I actually sell them online, and then I also do shows every month.
Now, I've seen you at the downtown Franklin art scene before, and some of the shops down there, and you're on Etsy.com, which is a shop for people that have home businesses and handmade things that they do. And I saw the first ingredient was organic peanut butter, and I don't know a dog that doesn't like peanut butter. So if you're interested in Axel Bites, you're very creative.
Thank you.
Where are they available locally? Anywhere in any of the shops, or do we need to go on Etsy.com?
The easiest place to get them is Etsy.com. You can just search Axel Bites. It's AXLE. And then I also do the Franklin art scene every month.
Okay, and which business in Franklin are you in when you do the art scene?
It's actually out of somebody's house. There's a local stained glass maker that opens up his home and turns it into a gallery for the weekend, or for the week.
Yeah, and I've been down there. It's down across from the old Harmony House area. Okay, down at that end. Okay, that's great. And they can meet Axel usually.
Yes, Axel comes with me. He's there every show. He's a big celebrity. People come in specifically to see the dog. And I've got repeat customers. Everybody seems to really like the treats. I've got a couple different flavors on my Etsy shop, and I'm actually in the process of expanding and creating different flavors.
Wow, that is wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, you're a great advocate for us. Now, if a person's interested in Frank, we talked about the dogs going home with our volunteers and spending the night or having a sleepover or whatever. Sometimes we offer that to prospective adopters too.
Yes.
So if anyone's interested in a dog, Frank, or any other dog that we have, it is possible to foster. We call it a foster to adopt.
Yes.
We used to call it a failed foster, but we love those.
Yes.
And so that would mean a person could come to the shelter, meet a dog like Frank, and decide, let's give it a try. We don't mind that.
No, not at all.
We want a permanent home for the dog, and we want the owner and their family and the dog to all be happy. So sometimes, especially people who've never had a dog before, it's a wonderful thing.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity to kind of test drive a dog. And if they fall in love with the dog, fantastic, they can adopt it. If it doesn't work out, that's okay too. The dog is always welcome back at the shelter.
Sure.
And it's better to bring a dog back if you're just not sure about it than to wind up with something that you're just not happy about the situation.
Right.
So the foster to adopt program is fantastic too.
Yeah, and we all learn something new about each dog during that time.
Yes.
We learn what they like, what they don't like, and who they get along with the most, and whether they like the other dogs in the house and so forth. Well, Madison, it's been wonderful to have you here today. You're such a great advocate for the Williamson County Animal Shelter, and so is Frank. He's finally decided to stand still, and I appreciate you being here, Madison,
thank you.
and all that you do for us, and your advocacy for the pit bull breed is a wonderful thing. We'll be back in a moment with the second half of our show, and I hope you'll stay to watch.
When bicyclists and motorists encounter each other, one fundamental rule applies: share the road. Cyclists have the same rights and responsibilities as motorists. They are required to travel on the right side of the road in the same direction, obeying the same traffic rules.
Remember that everyone has a right to the roadway. It is a public road, but everyone has to observe the rules of the road. They apply to the motorists and the bicyclists alike.
When encountering a cyclist, Tennessee state law requires that the motorist waits for a clear lane and provides 3 feet of clearance while passing. Remember, same road, same rules, same rights.
Want to build memories with your child? Turn off the TV and read. Reading is one of the best family activities around. It's free and without commercials. Start with picture books for young children and build to storybooks and novels. Vary the length and topic of what you're reading. And read slowly enough so that your child can draw pictures in his mind about what is being read. Invite your child to turn the book's pages, or pause and ask your child to predict what's going to happen next in the story.
Mom, we haven't turned that car.
Young children like to read the same book over and over. During repeat readings, stop at a key word and let your child fill in that word.
Is that the burner bowl?
After you finish reading a book, reflect on it together. Build memories. Read. This Choose Success moment has been brought to you by the Middle Tennessee P16 Council.
Hello and welcome back to Pet Watch. My guest for this segment of the program is Jean Simmons. Welcome, Jean.
Thank you.
Jean is a local author, and she has written a book called Willie the Panther Cat, and we're going to show you a copy in just a minute that nobody's seen yet. So we're very excited. Tell me about how you got to be a writer. What pushed you in that direction?
Well, I've been a nurse for a number of years, and I recently left a couple of years ago. I got my degree in Nashville, and I got my master's at Vanderbilt, and then a couple of years ago I decided to quit and pursue other projects, and this was a big one, the writing. I've always wanted to write a book, and I have an 11-year-old son, and after years of reading to him and being read to, I thought I really want to try my hand at a children's book. And so that was my motivation. And then I decided to write a book about my son, Ryan, and then about his cat, or our cat, Willie, who's a stray that we adopted. Because I know animals, most children's books, they love animals.
Right.
And my son has a special bond with animals. So that's what brought about this book. But it turns into a fantasy about my son and his cat with a really nice twist at the end.
So Willie is a real cat.
Willie's a real cat.
And how did he come to be part of your family in the beginning?
Well, in the book I have him adopted from an animal shelter, but in reality he was a stray. The mom cat had a litter on one of our properties, and he was the bravest cat of them, and he's the one that came up to us, so we adopted him. And then I had the mom cat spayed, and I had her adopted out and the other kittens. And then that's how we came to have Willie, and he wound up growing into a very big black cat.
So Willie is a really lucky cat too.
I think so.
Yeah, I think he is. So if you picked him up and Ryan made him his best friend, then
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, he's having a wonderful life. And recently, the Williamson County Library System had I guess its first annual.
It's first, right.
Janice Keck Literary Contest, where people could submit manuscripts and books that they had written. And you were one of the 4
Yes, that's right.
recipients of that. And you will receive that award from them, and that's just a wonderful thing. And you were in the children's category, right?
Yes,
okay.
that's correct.
Okay. I would hate to be the judge of that because I know Dolores and her group at the library do a great job, and there are a lot of wonderful writers in this community. It's amazing. So congratulations to you on receiving that literary award. Now, along with that is a new endeavor the library is undertaking, and we're going to tie this all back to your love of animals and to the shelter in a minute. But let's talk a bit about the library is actually developing a line of books, and the 4 winners receive the publication of their book. Is that right, as part of the award?
Yes, that's correct. As part of the award, they'll publish it with Ingram Publishers, Ingram Spark, and then there'll be a book award ceremony and a book signing, a lot of local publicity, and then what's really exciting is the book will be in circulation at the library, at the main branch and at the other branches. And then hopefully when it comes out, it'll be in the local bookstores like Parnassus and Barnes & Noble and Landmark, and whoever's willing to take the book, basically, and Ingram will market it to them for us. And then the library will take care of the copyright and the International Book Code. So it's a great opportunity for unpublished authors in the area.
Right.
They really go way beyond what most libraries do. I think they're one of only 2 libraries in the country that do something like this.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, let's take a look at, this is a mock-up of the book, Willie the Panther Cat. Now tell me, of course you're the author, now tell me about your illustrator, Maureen O'Brien, and I'm going to go over to one of her beautiful paintings.
Well,
Yes, they look like paintings.
They do.
She's quite talented.
She's very talented.
Now, what is Maureen's history? Is she a local person, or?
Yes, Maureen lives here in Franklin. I wanted someone local. That was important to me, and unfortunately, I can't draw. And this book is for preschoolers to kindergarten, 4, 5, 6-year-olds. So I really needed some good illustrations. And I looked up several illustrators online. As I said, I wanted someone here in Franklin because I love Franklin. I really wanted to have that Franklin flavor. And I got in touch with Maureen, and we got together, and she just had perfect vision of what I wanted. And so I told her what illustrations I wanted, and then she drew them for me. And you can tell from the book that she loves cats.
Oh, you can.
You can.
And I can tell exactly what Willie looks like at your home. I feel like I know him now.
She did great.
So a little bit about the story. It's a great read-aloud book because the illustrations are so catchy, catching for a child, and they're so beautiful that it's a great book for parents to read aloud to children before they can read. Ryan is the star of the book, and he gets a stray cat called Willie.
Well, as I said in the book, he's from the animal shelter, but yes, he gets a stray rescue
cat.
cat.
The family adopts a cat.
Right, and then they go through their life together, and then they have a sort of a fantasy turn in there, and then there's a nice little twist at the end, and then I don't want to give it away.
Right.
And then, of course, at the end is a happy ending with a nice moral that the parents should like.
Yeah, like all boys do, they imagine that their cat is the great hunter.
Right.
Is what the gist of what I got. And Willie, the house cat, turns into the great Panther Cat.
Right.
So it's a cute story, and I know that people will love to read it. Now, let's connect this back to the Williamson County Animal Shelter for a minute. What was your goal in writing the book, other than the satisfaction of telling the story of your son and the cat? Tell us about your love for animals and where that comes from.
Well, as I said, part of the book also was it was important to me that Willie be a rescue animal. That we also have a rescue dog too. We have a full house.
Uh-oh, he didn't make it in the book.
No, that may be my next book.
That may be your next one. Yeah.
But we both love animals. As I said, Ryan has a special bond with animals, and I've always loved animals. And I do volunteer at the shelter on occasion. I go by and I walk dogs and socialize with the cats and try to get them out of their kennels. And I've admired what the shelter does. They do a great job of taking care of them and keeping clean. And they deal with PR. They get the animals adopted. They do a really good job with that. And so my plan was to donate the profits to local animal shelters like the Williamson County Animal Shelter, because I do think they do a wonderful job.
That's wonderful. Thank you for doing that. We so appreciate it, and maybe when we get some copies, we can figure out a way to make some available at the shelter. You never know, or at some of our events. We'd love to work with you on that. So, we go out in the community all the time in different areas. So, we would love to work with you as soon as it's hot off the press, because we only have a couple of these, right?
Right. And that's not the final. It'll be in a book form. There'll be hardcover and probably paperback. And I'm hoping, as I said, in December that it'll be out is what we're shooting for in time for Christmas. So.
Oh, good.
We hope.
Yeah. Now that's the Ingram Spark product. Once the book is on there, people can go on the Ingram website and order the book too?
Well, I haven't done that part yet. I
Okay.
would think so. It'll be on Amazon, I'm sure, and other internet sites, and then, as I said, hopefully the bookstores. And I'm sure you can order it from Ingram too. I haven't really started that process yet.
Well, I think we'll probably see you at some book signings
Oh, definitely.
around the community here in the next few months, because this is when it really gears up. Now, and Maureen may want to appear with you too, because she's so talented.
Yes.
The illustrations and the narrative is work together so well that I feel like I can, just by looking at it, see what Ryan looks like and see exactly what the
Right.
what the Panther Cat looks like. Now, tell me about your other ideas. You say you might have a book in your future. What do you think about that? Are you had time to even consider it, or?
Well, I've already started writing actually a couple of different ideas. One would be just another Willie Panther Cat series. Something about he's had a considerable weight gain, and I might go into that, and now he loses weight and goes on a diet.
Yeah.
That's one idea I have. And then the other one, my son really wants me to write about Willie and our dog, Roxy, that we adopted, who is also a stray.
Okay.
And they have a truce sort of between them, but they don't.
A truce.
A truce.
That's a good term for it. Yeah.
Willie was first, and he knows it, and he lets Roxy know. And in the book, I'd like for them to maybe get along and wind up playing together, and something along those lines. But that's what I'm thinking about.
Yeah. And you were mentioning some of the other things that the shelter does, and with cats, it's especially important to emphasize the free spay-neuter program that we offer.
Right.
And I always like to get something in about that when we're talking about cats, because most people don't realize that kittens can become reproductive at 4 months. So it's very important, and they create an astronomical number in the hundreds of thousands of cats in a short time. So
They do.
yeah, those are very important issues. And anytime anybody learns about an animal and reads a book about an animal, I think a child picks up so many things.
Right.
They pick up the emotional connection to the animal. They pick up the responsibility it takes to take care of an animal, and the social interaction and what that cat means to them. And it's really a wonderful relationship that Ryan seems to have with Willie. I'm glad they're best friends. Again, I want to show you the book. It's called Willie the Panther Cat by Gene Simmons, the winner of the Janice Keck Literary Award through the Williamson County Library for 2014. Look for this book in your local stores around the holiday season, or ask anybody at the library about Willie the Panther Cat. Gene, it's wonderful to talk with you today, and I love your book, and please compliment your illustrator. And I want to tell you that it's a wonderful story, and I think families will love it.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. I want to thank all our viewers for all your support this summer for the ASPCA Rachel Ray $100,000 challenge. We were involved in the months of June, July, and August in an attempt to adopt 300 more animals this summer than we did last summer. The final results will be announced October 7, but I want to thank everyone in the community who came out to many events. We had a special event almost every weekend for 12 weeks. Our staff and our volunteers all worked so hard to make that possible during the months of June, July, and August, and we appreciate it so much. We are having our fall rabies clinics coming up September the 6th and 13th. On September the 6th, the $10 rabies clinics will be at College Grove Community Center, the Fairview City Hall, Heritage Elementary, and Brentwood Middle School. And then on the 13th of September, they will be at Fox's Grocery, Sunset Middle School, Fairview Elementary School, and at the shelter. The one at the shelter on the 13th will also offer microchipping for $20 additional fee. That's the only location that will have microchips. So if you have any questions, please look on adoptwcac.org or call the shelter 790-5590. We'll also be attending many local special events. On September 20th, Tractor Supply on Columbia Avenue in Franklin will be having Pet Appreciation Day, and we'll be out there on the 20th of September. And then on the 27th, we'll be traveling down to Thompson Station for their annual Thompson Station Dog and Pony Show. It used to be called the Town Festival, but it occurs in Thompson Station Park on September 27th. We'll take our mobile unit and have cats and dogs for adoption. Again, I want to thank you for all your support in this past summer in helping us meet our goals in the challenge, and I encourage you to come by the shelter at 106 Claude Yates Drive and look at our wonderful dogs and cats and consider adoption. Thank you for watching Pet Watch.
If we could talk to the animals, learn all their languages, maybe take an animal degree. If I conferred with our furry friends, man to animal, think of the amazing repartee. If I could walk with the animals, talk with the animals, grunt and squeak and squawk with the animals,